How the hell does a Knight Templar from the First Crusade show up on Vatican CCTV in 2025? From literally 1,000 years ago. And that of all places, the Houska Castle, the one they call the Gateway of Hell, I always thought that was just some kind of medieval ghost story, not an actual surveillance breach.
The stories were never myths, they were warnings. Houska Castle wasn't built to keep intruders out. It was built to seal something in. 1,000 years ago, a Templar Knight followed an ancient tablet across continents to a cave buried beneath the Bohemian wilderness. There, etched into the stone floor, lay what he believed was a divine relic, the shield of Archangel Michael. And by lifting that shield, he didn't just claim a holy artifact, he broke the first seal.
Wait, so the whole tourist attraction story, folklore, the legends, the harmless myths, that was never the truth. It was the cover, a way to hide what was really sealed beneath the castle.
Let's not act like you're new to cover-ups. The CIA and the Dark Department didn't just inherit conspiracy, they perfected it.
I can't argue with you on that. Wait, pause the video here. He enters alone, but he doesn't leave that way. 3 other knights follow behind him with black armor, glowing crimson crosses silent as tombstones, and they're emerging from the same pit he once sealed. Something's changed. These aren't the radiant protectors you would expect. They look like warriors forged in darkness. If they came from the pit, who's to say they're still on the side of heaven? Why would the White Knight open it again? Was it part of the plan all along? Or has prophecy twisted? Because if ancient Templar warriors are walking out of hell in 2025, then the Dark Department better wake up. This isn't just a Vatican problem. This is a national security threat.
The winter of 1100 came early. Snow whipped across the stones of Jerusalem, as though God himself was scouring the city clean after a century of blood. Godfrey of Bouillon, defender of the sepulchre, first ruler of the liberated city, stood alone in the citadel's excavated lower chambers. Not even his most trusted knights knew he came here. The chamber smelled of dust, cold stone, and something older, something that did not belong to earth. Torches flickered. Shadows recoiled unnaturally, bending away from a slab of midnight black basalt rising from the chamber floor. No tool had cut this stone. It had been grown, or summoned, or left behind by something ancient. Godfrey brushed dirt from its surface. Symbols glowed faintly beneath the grit. Not Latin, not Greek, not even Hebrew. The carvings pulsed like veins filled with warm, molten gold. And at the center, a handprint, human-shaped, pressed into the basalt as though someone once touched it when the stone was still molten. Godfrey felt heat rising through the rock, a heartbeat weak but unmistakable. He did not pray, he listened, and the stone answered. A whisper bled into the air, vibrating through the marrow of his bones.
Oilon, descendant of the first oath. The seal weakened.
Godfrey staggered back.
Who speaks?
The torches dimmed. The chamber fell silent. Then, light erupted from the basalt. Gold and white spiraled upward, threads of brilliance coiling into a towering shape, tall, winged, crowned with a corona like a sun halo torn apart and reforged. But the face was hidden behind shifting shards of light, as though reality refused to show its true form. Godfrey fell to one knee, not from reverence, from pressure, as if standing before a mountain. The being spoke without mouth or breath.
The first pit stirs.
You must finish what they could not.
Why me?
The being extended a hand. A shield materialized above its palm, forged from impossible metals, silver, gold, and a shimmering material like compressed dawnlight. Runes encircled the rim, glowing in a rhythm that matched 2 distinct heartbeats.
The Aegis shield, forged from divine authority. You will wield it. You will close the wound.
The shield drifted toward him. Godfrey did not reach for it. Instead, he rose to his feet, eyes fierce despite the pain racking his chest.
I refuse.
Silence, perfect and absolute. The being's wings dimmed.
Explain.
My men have died in wars they never understood. My brothers starved so we might free this city.
If I vanish into a legend no one remembers, who will protect them?
You misunderstand. This is not a request.
Light shattered. A spear of brilliance slammed into Godfrey's heart. He screamed. Visions tore through him. A black castle in a forest that should not exist. A pit that breathed like a living throat. A serpent of obsidian rising from a wound in the world. 3 knights centuries later, shattering rings of power. A dragon frozen in stasis. A slab cracking beneath moonlight. And himself, the White Knight, stepping out of a bubble of warped time. Then darkness. The torches extinguished. The basalt slab dimmed to silence. And Godfrey of Bouillon lay on the floor, breathless, trembling.
Godfrey jolted upright, breath sharp in his lungs. The angelic being, if that's what it truly was, had vanished without a trace. No voice, no light, no wings, only silence, and the feeling that something eternal had just ended or begun. He glanced around the cavern, disoriented, but then he saw it. At the base of the black basalt slab, where once there had been only stone, now rested an ancient tablet, weathered but intact, its surface etched with intricate lines, symbols, and celestial arcs. Godfrey approached slowly. As his fingers traced the markings, his heart began to race. It was a map. Not of this land, but of distant mountains, ruined abbeys, ancient roads half swallowed by time. He recognized them. Europe. Thousands of miles away. Familiar landmarks. Forgotten monasteries. Sacred sites he'd only seen on Crusade. The map hadn't been there before. He wasn't dreaming. Whatever had happened here tonight had left him with a purpose, and the first step was marked in stone.
Godfrey left Jerusalem within the week. The doctors said exhaustion plagued him. His commanders believed he traveled to negotiate alliances. The clergy claimed he sought relics. Only one man knew the truth, and Godfrey had left him behind, shackled by fear that the church would silence anyone who learned what he carried inside him. The radiant imprint burned into his palm. By day it lay dormant. By night it pulsed. 3 beats, like 3 hearts, synced with something moving beneath the world. The visions haunted him. A castle with inverted walls. A pit like a wound from the mouth of eternity. A serpent's shadow reaching across centuries. He rode northward through the broken spine of Europe, cutting across Byzantine trade routes, then Germanic forests, always following the invisible pull guiding him closer to the visions. The nights grew colder, the forests darker, the animals quieter. He reached Bohemia in late autumn. Fog choked the valleys, clinging to the hillsides like ghosts reluctant to rise. Locals warned him of the cursed hollow ahead, a place travelers avoided even in daylight. There is a hole there, one man whispered at an inn, not dug by hands, but by something climbing out. Godfrey asked the name of the place. No one dared speak it. The valley felt wrong the moment he entered it. The sound died. Birdsong vanished. Even the wind refused to move through the pines. The world held its breath. Godfrey dismounted. Frost crunched underfoot, though the air wasn't cold enough for it. His breath steamed faintly, not white, but a pale gold glow escaping his lungs. The mark was waking. Already, he whispered. The trees ahead parted not by breeze, but by gravity, as though something pulled everything inward toward a central point, toward a scar. He walked. A raven watched him from a crooked branch, unmoving, as though frozen in time. Godfrey touched it gently. Its feathers were pliable, warm, alive, yet its body did not react, did not blink. Reality was thinning. He pushed deeper into the valley until the land suddenly dropped into an unnatural sinkhole nearly 50 feet across. A perfect circle, perfectly smooth and perfectly silent. This was the place in his visions. This was the first pit. Except now, centuries before Houska's castle would be built atop it, the pit lay open to the winter air, unguarded, exposed to the world like a wound left untreated. Godfrey approached the rim. The air below rippled like heat rising from desert sand, except it was cold. A cold that felt not like temperature, but like absence.
There was a spiral staircase. At first glance, it seemed crude, primitive Gothic. But as Godfrey descended, he realized it wasn't carved by human hands. It was etched from the bedrock, as if melted into shape by something ancient, something divine, or not. Each step spiraled deeper around a crater, not a chasm. This was no natural formation. Something had fallen here, not from the sky, from the heavens. At the crater's bottom, he found the floor laced with glowing glyphs, pulsing faintly beneath centuries of dust. And at the center, the aegis, the shield from his vision embedded in the stone like a seal upon the world's wound. A voice returned, the same voice from the dream. No language, only meaning.
Commit, peel it from the earth. Fulfill what was written.
But something else stirred within him, hesitation, as if the shield had been placed there to hold something in, not protect something out. Still, he obeyed. He jammed the tip of his sword beneath the aegis and pried. A pressure seal hissed. Then, detonation. The ground exploded with a supernatural force. Godfrey's body was hurled upward, cast from the pit like a broken arrow. He slammed into the stone above and crumpled beside the rim, motionless. The aegis landed beside him, inches from his hand. In the silence that followed, he heard it, a groan from the crater. Something was climbing out. The voice returned.
The shield. Become what you must.
The ascension. His fingers brushed the aegis. Light erupted. His bones snapped and reformed, not in pain, but with divine purpose. The shield's energy poured into him, threading through marrow, nerve, and soul. His hair bleached white, growing long, flowing like silk in slow motion, ageless. His eyes ignited, blazing celestial blue, alive with power he could barely comprehend. His armor melted away, replaced by segmented silver-white plate that grew across his frame like living scripture. A new helm sealed over his face, smooth, bone-shaped, with a grinning jawline below and glowing slits above. A death mask of a sainted executioner. Every rune on his new armor shimmered. Ancient glyphs of angelic descent burned into steel. Shoulder pauldrons widened, etched with warnings from forgotten tongues. Time itself warped around him. Then came the voice, final and
You
cold.
are no longer Sir Godfrey. You are the White Knight.
Guardian of the seal, prisoner of prophecy.
As he rose, floating an inch above the earth, the aegis snapped into place on his forearm. Its surface came alive, rings of glowing blue light spinning slowly like orbits around a celestial core. At its center, the skull emblem burned with divine fire, pulsing like a beacon. His sword, still the same, unchanged, mortal. A reminder of the man who once was. But the presence he now carried was not of this world. Godfrey stood, no longer a man, but a sentinel of prophecy, reborn in armor not forged by any blacksmith, but written into existence. And behind him, from the pit, something else was still rising.
Something moved beneath. Then, a sound, not a growl, not a breath, a dragging, as if claws scraped against stone far, far below. A shape climbed. Long arms first, 7 feet long, segmented, ending in talons of smooth, polished obsidian. Then shoulders, too wide for the pit. Then a head, bulbous, eyeless, crowned with a ring of fractured bone. The creature hauled itself upward, dripping with a substance like molten night. Its movements made no sound. Its presence made no sense. The first pit had birthed something that should not exist. Godfrey braced behind the aegis shield, and the world erupted. The demon surged out of the pit in a blur of broken geometry. One moment, it was coiled beneath the rim. The next, it occupied 3 positions in the air at once, its form glitching through space like a candle flame inside a spinning mirror. Godfrey raised the aegis shield. The shield consumed the impact, not deflected, absorbed. A blast of unnatural force rippled outward, flattening the grass in a perfect circle 40 feet wide. Trees bent backward as if a giant hand swept above them. The demon hissed, a sound like stone cracking under ice. It struck again and again. Each blow landed seconds before it visibly moved. The creature was sliding forward through pockets of time faster than the world could render its steps. Godfrey's boots dug trenches in the dirt. The shield burned gold. His bones vibrated. His strength failed. It would break him. So he shouted the only thing that rose instinctively from the mark, seared into his hand.
Michael!
Light detonated. A column of white gold erupted around him, not descending from the sky, but rising from the earth, as if the ground itself remembered heaven. The demon recoiled, its body convulsing, sections of it freezing in separate positions as the temporal field shattered around it. Godfrey felt a presence behind the light, not a figure, not a voice, but an authority, ancient and terrifying and patient. The shield shifted in his grip. It grew heavier, sharper, hungrier. It wanted to be used. He surged forward. Godfrey struck first. The Aegis shield, normally a defensive artifact, became a weapon. When its edge connected with the demon's torso, reality cracked. Not the creature, reality. A thin seam of white light split the air, and the demon's torso folded inward, as if collapsing into a different dimension. It lunged in retaliation, jaws opening sideways, revealing a second set of teeth forming inside its skull. The bite missed his throat by inches. He slammed the shield upward, crushing the lower jaw. Bone shards flew like obsidian shrapnel. The demon staggered. Then it shrieked, not in pain, in signal. From the hole beneath them came movement. 4 limbs grabbing stone, 6, 8, dozens. Shapes rose, some humanoid, some crawling like broken spiders, some hovering inches above the ground, twitching through patches of stolen time. The first legion of the pit. They swarmed the walls, the trees, the earth itself. Godfrey tightened his grip. Then come, he whispered, and they did. They struck him from all sides. Claws raked his armor. Voices screamed without mouths. Time fractured in shards around him. Each blow stole something, a heartbeat, a second of memory, a sliver of warmth, a piece of courage. They took everything they touched, but the shield of Michael gave it back. With every strike he deflected, he felt the same 3 heartbeats pulsing inside the artifact. Not his own, not Michael's, something deeper. Something connected to a future he could not see. The shield throbbed. A command rose in his mind, not spoken, but imprinted. S-E-A-L. He pivoted and slammed the shield edge first into the ground. Light roared outward. Not a beam, a wave. The creatures evaporated into dust, their bodies collapsing into streams of black ash, sucked back toward the pit like smoke into a forge. The main demon, the firstborn, shrieked and lunged for him. Godfrey threw the shield like a disc. It struck the demon's face, and a white explosion tore through the valley. When the glow subsided, the demon was gone, folded back into the fracture that birthed it, deep into the stone floor of the pit.
Exactly where Michael had once driven the Aegis into the earth, sealing the wound between realms, Godfrey now stood. The valley fell silent, utterly, as if the land itself held its breath. Godfrey dropped to his knees, not in reverence, but in exhaustion. Ash clung to his armor. Blood traced lines down his face, and the air shimmered around him, laced with fragments of time itself, like frost from some other era. He had done it. The first horde of hell was repelled. The shield, once again, held fast. But the price was clarity. The seal had been broken, and the shield, powerful though it was, had only delayed the inevitable. This was not the end, merely the beginning. One gate had opened, others would follow, and when they did, someone would have to stand between the world and the abyss. That someone was now him. No longer just Godfrey of Bouillon, but the White Knight, a living extension of Archangel Michael's will, wielding the divine shield once forged in heaven itself. But with that power came doubt. Was he still his own? Did he act from free will? Or had the divine voice merely claimed a mortal pawn for prophecy? He did not know. He only knew this. Though he lacked the knowledge to reseal the pit, he would not abandon it. If he could not close it, he would guard it. And so he began, stone by stone. With bloodied hands and divine strength, he built a fortress, a tomb, a citadel above the scar in the world. Not to keep something out, but to keep something in. And for 100 years, touched by the slow passage of time and divine intervention, he did not age, he did not rest, he built. Until at last, Houska Castle rose from the earth. A warning, a prison, and a promise. So long as I stand, hell shall not pass.
I thought that place was guarded by Godfrey, the White Knight. It was, but something must have happened for him to abandon his post. Almost 2 centuries later,
The Forsaken Three gave everything to stop what crawled out of that pit. Then the White Knight vanished, and the church assumed it was over.
assumed,
That's comforting. Why the hell did he come back?
answering the call of his brothers.
You told me they sealed the Dragon Prince.
They did, at a terrible cost. They sealed themselves inside the exact moment of their victory, frozen in a single slice of time. Guardians and prisoners, all at once.
So why reopen it? Why now, especially knowing you are opening the floodgates of hell for a second time?
Because the ground beneath other gates is shifting. Other pits, other fractures. The war never ended, we simply stopped looking.